If it's meant for you, it's yours. I think we live in a society now where we see, oh my gosh, she's a model, I can't be a model, or oh,
Right.
she's a designer, I can't be a designer, or she's a nail tech, or he's a like, who cares? If it's for you, if you're
It's for
passionate,
you.
if it drives you, can't nobody take that away from you but yourself. And a
Yes.
lot of people give up on themselves before they even started.
Come
And I've came
on.
across this so many times, and it breaks my heart because I'm like, you are a gift, and you're not even tapping into your potential yet, because you already seeing, you comparing yourself. And I think that's what social media kind of steered people, where you
Yeah.
can go and let social media be a benefit to you, or it can be
Yes.
something that hinders you. And a lot of people don't know how to determine the two.
Welcome to Keys to the Culture podcast. It's your hostess with the mostest, Maisha, and I am here to tell you all about the keys to the culture, where creatives and innovators shape the culture around us, and they give relevance to the creator economy, one post at a time. In other words, we're rooting for everybody black. So, what is the creator economy? The creator economy is the economy. It is where people of all kinds of creative activities are able to turn it into businesses, brands, partnerships, and able to make a lot of money. So, ask yourself, why am I not the one making money? So, today we want to give highlights to some people that are doing amazing things in the industry. And one person we like to highlight today, before we get to our guest, is Queen Afua. She is an amazing woman, lifestyle, wellness, and teaching black women how to take care of their body. She had a book called Sacred Woman that changed my life and many of the women in my circle. And just like Queen Afua, our guest today is amazing woman. She focuses on lifestyle, health, wellness, financial literacy, beauty, and so much more. We are welcoming AuJené.
Oh my God. Can I have that as my ringtone?
Yes.
I know that's right. Thank
Yes.
you. I appreciate that introduction.
I love it. And I have one question for you. This is our icebreaker.
Okay.
When did you know that black creativity is the culture?
That's a beautiful question. I always knew that black people, I always say, are the rhythm of the earth.
Yes.
But I think the pandemic showed a lot.
It did.
So it kind of just showed, when creatives went on strike, when people were saying, we're not getting paid enough, a lot of things paused. So,
Yeah, it's true.
I seen a lot. So that's what kind of steered me.
Yeah, me too. The pandemic really shaped a lot of people's careers too.
100%.
And on social media in general, it really grew brands, personal or services that they have. And we've shown a lot of growth with black creators. So whether that's still TikTok dances, we dancing, we singing, or we're beauty influencers, et cetera, et cetera. So for you, how has the pandemic really blessed you in that way?
Ooh, the pandemic was a gift. Like, honestly, it was the gift I didn't know that it was like needed. I graduated college the year of the pandemic, and I was like, okay, I got these degrees, I'm about to walk the stage.
Yes.
And 2-3 months before, they were like, no, home,
Lights out.
quarantine. I was like, what? And I was
Yeah.
honestly, I was sad because I remember working my butt off and thinking I was about to, get my diploma, walk the stage, and I ended up graduating, doing my makeup when they were like calling my name, and like my family was at work and everybody, like it wasn't what I imagined. And so when that happened, I was a little bummed, but then my partner at the time was like, let's travel. And so we traveled the world, and the pandemic opened my eyes to a part of me that I didn't know needed to be unlocked. And I got into a deeper version of myself. I understood myself. I started talking to God to like in deeper ways that I didn't know I could do.
Wow.
I started just it was magic. It was a magic, and I found that magic within myself during the pandemic. So
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
I really feel like it was a soul searching moment for myself and a lot of other people too, because it really made you look at yourself.
Yeah.
And look at the people around you. Do I like the people that I spend the most time with?
Yeah.
Do I like my spouse? Do I like myself? And it really was like a soul searching journey for a lot of us during the pandemic. So in that way, was there any areas that you felt that you had to address during the pandemic?
I think for me, it's funny because like you just said, like it was a relationship thing that we faced a lot during the pandemic. And for me personally, I can say I'm one of those people that was very focused on every relationship that I had prior, except for the relationship I had with myself. So during the pandemic, I started drawing more. I started praying to God, asking what my purpose is on this earth. I started creating different ideas for businesses. I started doing the things that spoke to my spirit and made me genuinely happy. So that was my thing.
You know what? I did the same thing. I ain't gonna lie. I bought some paint. I was like, I'm gonna go back to drawing and painting because I did that as a kid, and that's what I did in my pastime. So it brought joy to me. I did a few paintings. I gave it to my friends. I have a couple in my house. You know, a girl's talented, honey. So we have to, show our little talent, and it also is kind of therapeutic for us too. Because my thing is music. I love live music, and I was missing that so much during the pandemic. And I was like, man, we need some music. And then we go to social media.
Yeah.
And then there's a DJ.
They had the concert. Girl, them concerts was going up on live.
Period.
Girl, I love. And the pandemic had people trying new things out though. Like
it did.
I loved it though. Like, cause I remember I used to play the clarinet in middle school.
Not the clarinet.
Girl, so I bought me a little clarinet during from Amazon, and I'm over here like, I know my neighbors. I know my neighbors was like, what the hell is she doing?
Listen, because why not?
Right.
Yes, why not? But I think, with social media, it has changed over the last few years, too.
Yeah.
Each platform has their own algorithm, has their own style of doing things, but you were able to build an audience.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your beginnings on social media and how you created an audience.
Yeah, I think when I first started, it was on Instagram, and it was funny because my best friend, April, at the time, well, not at the time, she's still my girl to this day.
Shout out to April.
Shout out to April. But my best friend, I was like, starting Instagram, and I think my name on Instagram originally was, what was it? It was like, it's AuJené or something like that. And I had a picture go viral of me, and I was in a bikini, and this was like, it was so funny. It was like, I probably got like 2,000 or 1,000 likes, and I was like, I'm famous. I was like, you ain't telling me nothing. And then literally, my dad ended up finding a picture, and the picture ended up circulating, and I remember the way he found out, like the worst way. Like,
no, not daddy.
Girl, his friend was like, yo, look at this baddie, like I follow.
No,
and then my dad's like, let me see who is it, and it was me, and he was...
See, I cannot. Daddy.
He called me with a quickness. And he was like, what the hell do you think you're doing? Like, girl. And so I ended up, me and my mom, I remember me and her on the phone that night. And I was like, Mom, he wants me to delete my Instagram. I don't know what to do. And so she was like, let's change your name. And so that's when I changed it to It's Just AJ Love. And it was so funny because up until that point, so many people knew me as my name, AuJené. And so then my best friend was like, I was like, I'm going to buy AJ. She's like, girl, ain't nobody gonna call you AJ. She was like, we know you as AuJené. I'm like, watch. And it literally just grew from there. And when I first started, my granddad was taking a lot of my pictures.
What?
He was my 70-year-old granddad. I would like stand him up. I'm like, Granddad, all you have to do is hold the phone and just press that button like 1,000 times.
Oh my God.
I'm like, and he would just take my pictures for me. And
shout out to Granddaddy.
Girl, he helped me so much. I ended up working at a modeling agency. One of the photographers at the modeling agency ended up seeing me. He was like, I need some melanin in my portfolio. Would you want to shoot? We ended up shooting. This is when, what's that platform called? Not Twitter. I think it was like Vine or something.
Vine, yes.
Was it Vine?
I love Vine.
I believe it was Vine. It was like the one where people posted, Tumblr. No, it was Tumblr. Girl, it was Tumblr. And literally, we posted that picture on Tumblr. It got like 100,000 reposts within the next 3 days. And I was like, oh, this is going to be something.
See, yes.
Yeah.
You know what it is, too? It's representation.
Yeah.
You know how important that is? That is so important to have Black women of all shades to be represented in media.
Yeah.
And the fact that everybody's seen it was like, oh, I'm reposting this. This is what needs to be seen is important.
It is.
Not just from like, I just want somebody who's sexy or whatever. It's powerful.
Yeah.
And then with the afro, let's talk about the afro here.
Girl, gotta represent.
Yes.
It's, you know, there's you hit on many points. You know, the representation really does matter. Because when I grew up, love all my queens, but all I saw was like a Carrie Hilson or a Beyonce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm a dark-skinned black woman from Compton, Inglewood, Hawthorne. I don't look like Beyonce, and you know, I don't look like a Carrie Hilson growing up. You know, and then they had the Kellys and they had the Michelles, and I'm like, Kelly was gorgeous. I loved Dilemma, and I loved Michelle too. Absolutely. But it was like everybody in middle school or elementary school, like, oh, but I'm gonna be the Beyonce, you know what I mean? And it was kind of like that whole like young-minded stigma type of vibe, and I was just like, you know what? No, like I'm going to be what God put me here to be, and I'm gonna live in my power as a woman. And I hope that, you know, whatever happens, I never thought it was gonna be as big as it ended up growing, you know, and I'm grateful for it. Yeah. But I'm one to also, and I like to make sure girls know it's more than your physicality, though. You like this? We are the blueprint.
Come on now,
girl. We the blueprint.
Say it again.
We are the blueprint. So my thing is like this comes easy. It's like what's inside, and that's one thing it took me a minute to learn. When I've always been like nice and chilled for people, but it took me a minute to really do the inner work because there's still work. Like we go to the gym, we want to make sure our hair is done, our nails, the aesthetics are fine. But what's that inner work looking like? Because that matters just as much as that outer work. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So that's one thing.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think people get into this kind of like role of this is my image and this is not really who I am. So behind closed doors, I'm taking off my wig, I'm taking off these eyelashes, and I'm in sweatpants. Yeah. And, you know, chilling, but that's still beautiful. Yeah. And to show women that there's so many different types of beauty, and they all are beautiful, and it's not to make black women monolithic, because we're not. Yeah. And we all look different. We have different lifestyles, and to show that representation is really important in different ways. And for you, like, that really shows you as a powerful woman and the brands that you associate with too. So when it comes to getting brand deals, like, what steps would someone take to get brand deals?
I think the most important one is to, so there's different ways you can go about it. Make sure your content is in line. So first thing, you want to make sure your page, like, make sure your name is easy. Don't be bad495124 like on Instagram and your name is Keith or Rachel. Like, if your name is Rachel, be at Rachel last name. You get me? Or like, branding is so important. So make sure you're branded like a professional if you want to be treated like a professional. And when it comes to the steps, I would say have a media kit, have a brand kit. If you can find representation, an agent, a talent manager, a PR team, finding all of those people are the right resources. They will then connect you, or you can do it yourself. Yeah. There are ways you can do it. I built it up myself. A lot of images went viral. Videos I've had went viral. I've had people reach out from those videos to me, and that helped me. Yes. Then I was able to build my team, but there are ways where you can do the reach out yourself. I just told one of my friends, he's an amazing photographer. I'm like, you need to reach out to agencies. Don't sit there and be like, oh, I can't find work in LA. I'm like, put together all your stuff, put it in a nice compile a file, send it over with a nice little letter, and say, this is who I am, this is what I represent, this is what I love to shoot. Let's work. Branding. Come on, and branding. Like he has a meeting with an agency in New York and in LA because of that. So you have to put yourself in the positions, and you can't just expect it to all come. It's like energy meets energy. You get me? So that's that.
Psst, you, come here. Yes, you. Have you been struggling to stay consistent with your content? We've all been there. You told yourself you was going to post about a year ago, but you have yet to post today. But don't worry, I got you covered. Introducing the Ultimate Content Calendar Blueprint. It is a guide that will show you how to stay consistent with your content for the next 30 days and beyond. It's filled with tips, tools, and ideas to help you take your content to the next level. And guess what? It's completely free. So don't wait, because it's going to go out fast. So make sure you download the Content Calendar Blueprint today. And you know what's really interesting too, I like how you touched on that, because that's what branding is. Exactly what she said. That's exactly what branding is, and positioning yourself. And I think people, even with your emails, don't put at 4962 red hair, whatever. Make it professional, because that matters too. And even to take it a step further, if you want to expand your portfolio, you can work in government contracts as a photographer, videographer, even model. Okay, state, government, and also city contracts. And you do the same thing. You position yourself, create something called a capability statement, which is similar to your resume and portfolio. So there's ways to get money out here, y'all.
That's the key right there.
Come on. So there's a lot of money in these internet streets that you can make, and beyond that. So, don't limit yourself, and that comes down to self-belief.
And I was going to add a little bit to what you just said.
Get into it.
Really knowing that if it's meant for you, it's yours. I think we live in a society now where we see, oh my gosh, she's a model, I can't be a model. Right. Or, oh, she's a designer, I can't be a designer. Or she's a nail tech, or he's a, like, who cares? If it's for you, if you're passionate, if it drives you, can't nobody take that away from you but yourself. Yes. And a lot of people give up on themselves before they even started. And I've came across this so many times, and it breaks my heart, because I'm like, you are a gift, and you're not even tapping into your potential yet, because you already seeing, you comparing yourself. And I think that's what social media kind of steered people, where you can go and let social media be a benefit to you, or it can be something that hinders you. And a lot of people don't know how to determine the two. You get me?
Yeah, I definitely agree 100%. And we were talking a little bit before this, and we were talking about making a decision. So when it comes to your life and how you want your life to be, it starts with a decision. And how did you come to terms with making that decision to say, you know what, this is exactly how I want my life to be. This is what exactly I want to do. And these are the steps I'm going to take. Like, where did that come from? Because a lot of people don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I've always been, I never was made to fit in. Like, I never was made to fit in. And so personally for me, I went to school. I tried to do the systematic way of doing it. I have 2 degrees in business administration and communications. Beautiful. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this, and then maybe I'll do a corporate job and do that. And that was what I wanted. But then I'm like, I love traveling. I hate being at the same place. I like making my own rules. I like saying this is how much I'm worth, like, or working for. Here. You get what I'm saying? Like, I like being, personally, that's how, that gives me drive. I like being creative and stuff like that, and making my own schedule. So for me personally, I had to think about, each day is different. It is a gamble, but entrepreneurship is my zhuzh. That's where I thrive, being my own boss, having my team. So that was what I knew was for me.
Yeah. So in business, is there any way that you had any training, you had a mentor? How did you get into the lane of being in business and taking your brand and turning it into a business?
Right now, it's so funny because, like, mentorship, so many people preached it to me in the beginning when I was first starting, even in social media. Like, they were like, find your mentors, find the people who will want to work with you and stuff like that. And I was just like, okay, I will. And I'm over here, like, DMing people, you want to be my mentor? You want to be my mentor? Right. And, like, my friend was like, no, that's not how it goes. I want to be blunt. Like, I don't want to, because I was also torn. I'm a bit of an overthinker too. So I was like, I don't like people feeling like they're being used or anything. So I'm like, I'm gonna let you know what it is up front. So I was like, how do I, like, be honest with them and not? But then he's like, you just grow gradual positive relationships with people.
There you go.
And you don't. It's like, don't go in there with like, oh, this person's gonna be my mentor or this person's going to get me here. Come on. You just grow relationships, and taking that advice from that point to now has gotten me through so many doors. Girl, I'm literally like, how did I make it here? I'm up in it. I'm sitting next to who? You know me, what?
Right.
Like, and like, think about the little girl I grew up from. Like, I didn't have any resources. My parents didn't know anybody. And like, growing to where I am, it shows the magic of what social media can do and the positives. But like, getting back onto your point, really just meeting people and being open to meeting people, putting yourself in rooms, being receptive. Don't just use people. Don't go in with the mindset.
Come on.
Don't go with the mindset like, oh, I'm going to go and sit with this person and I'm going to show them this, what I'm working on, and I'm going to shoot my shot because I may not ever. Don't think like that. I go and I'm like, I'm going to get this shot. I'm going to see you again. This ain't going to be the first time.
I do the same thing.
Like, I'm like, this ain't the first. I go, I mean, it may be a ton of celebrities in the room. I'm like, I'm in this room too.
Absolutely. No, you know your place. You know who you are and whose you are.
Yeah.
I feel the same way because I walk into rooms and I'm like, you know what? This is amazing that I'm here and I see all these people, but you know what? I earned my place here. I'm meant to be here. 100%. So when I'm in these rooms, I'm not going with an agenda to be like, you know what? I just want to grab onto this person because of their name or status. I don't care about titles. That doesn't matter because what relationships are divine, that connection will already happen. God will place them in my path for a reason. That's what I pray for. I pray for opportunities and preparation for those opportunities. Because when you do that, when you get those opportunities, you're already prepared. Right. Because sometimes we ask for stuff and then when we get it, then it's too much.
That is it right there. Preparation and opportunity.
Come on.
So many people want the opportunity but aren't prepared. And it happens every day. And then they go and get depressed about it or they feel defeated. But I'm like, did you put in the work? Did you really put in the work?
Let's talk about work. Please, let's talk about work. Because I see a lot of people, younger than me, and I know that they... You know, we have this easy button mentality in this generation. And, you know, not to take anything away from you, a lot of things are easier than it was from generations before us, right? But now it seems as though, from my experience and what I've seen, is that they want the easy button. Someone give me this instead of me actually putting the work in. So let's talk a little bit about worth ethic and how important it is in whatever path you take, whether it is in the beauty industry, influencer industry, how important it is to have good work ethic.
It depends how successful you want to be in life. If you want to just, you know, some people are comfortable with, I like being told what to do, I like having a good, you know, whatever, then that's that. And some people don't care if they even get fired from their jobs. They're just going, they're flowing with the wind. For me personally, work ethic is so important. You have to train. It's discipline. You have to be disciplined. I wake up every morning at 5:45 a.m.
Wow.
And do I want to really? No. Saturdays are my cheat days. I woke up at 8:30, y'all, and I feel great.
Okay.
But 5:45 a.m. What do? I wake up. I give my gratitude. I meditate. I go to the gym. I then come back. I freshen up. I have my breakfast. Then I start my day. My mentality is you prepare yourself mentally in the morning in a positive way, you'll have a positive day. But we find ourselves waking up later and we feeling like, oh my God, I have to rush. And you start rushing in the morning, you're going to have a rush day. And then you're going to be like, oh, I'm exhausted. I go to bed, I'm cuddling with my pillows. I'm like, yep, I did that. And I go to sleep. And I'm good. But it took me a minute to change that. But I had to change my work ethic. I used to think, oh, I'm staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm putting in work.
Just because.
Yeah. And I'm like, no. It's the difference between working hard and working smart. And a lot of people don't know the difference between the two. And if you put in a good disciplined routine, morning routine and evening routine, and being able to say, if somebody calls you up, yo, bro, I want to invite you here, or, oh, so-and-so's having a party here, being able to say, is this going to serve me, my future, and my spirit?
Yes.
No? Okay, you know what? Thank you, but tonight's not a good night for me.
Yes.
Be safe. And that's how I roll.
Yep. I've turned down a lot of different parties. And look, people call me all the time, hey, you want to go here, have a drink? I'm like, I'm good, y'all. I got to wake up in the morning. I got a client call. I don't have time. Yeah. And I think it's really important, like, setting the tone for your day.
100%.
Like, the routines that you have now, either whether they're good or bad, really sets the tone for your life and your career. Yeah. Because a lot of times the things that we do, we get complacent. We get, comfortable in our routines, and that can hurt us more than benefit us. Mm-hmm. So that's extremely important. And we got to look at the bag. How much money you want to make? You know what I mean? What kind of life do I want to live? I'm talking about I want to be a millionaire and I want this jet, but I have 99-cent store mentality. Exactly. We cannot do that. Exactly. So let's talk about getting the bag. Now, you don't have to tell me your business, but in your particular industry, what is the possibilities of finance and income
Girl.
and revenue?
Let me say, I got a couple friends. I'm like, girl.
Yes.
But,
just give me a ballpark.
Sky's the limit. I mean, I know people in my industry that are making over 80 million annually.
Okay. So that means that y'all need to get y'all content together.
Yeah.
Figure out what your brand is, your niche, and just pump out some content, y'all. Y'all got to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And smart about your content. And I really want to talk to you, too. I love this term, soft life.
Okay.
And you mentioned earlier that you travel, and travel has been kind of like your thing, and it has really enlightened you in so many different ways. How did travel open up your mind to culture?
Girl, traveling is the gift that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
Really, it's a gift that I wish more people would really take advantage of, because it's something, not only are you creating memories, you're creating experiences without the phone. I put my phone down as much as I can. I'm not always perfect with it.
Yeah, of
but
course.
literally it is so important because, okay, just to get back on that point, because I'm like, oh my gosh, traveling. It changed my life in the sense where the first place I went to was Costa Rica.
Ooh.
And I remember there were kids playing outside. And they were like maybe like 8, 7 years old. And it made me think back to when I used to play outside. And at that point, I have nephews. And I'm seeing them play on their iPads, on their phone.
Technology.
On watching TV. And I'm like, it was so refreshing to go to these other countries or this country and see these kids playing. Like, and not even just like little play. Like, they playing, laughing, like jumping into water. And I was like, I want to join, but I don't want to be a Korean. Yes, it's joy. It's refreshing, and I love that. So seeing that really changed my mind. Also, the food in these countries.
Come on.
You know, like we already know, a lot of people know America's food quality is not the best. And so when you go to these places and the word organic doesn't exist because everything is organic. I'm like, can I have organic? They're like, what?
What is that?
Like, I'm like, you know, natural, no GMO. They like everything is like this.
Right.
And it's inexpensive. Like, I be living my best life when I be living on islands and y'all see me on Instagram on islands, I'm living my best life. Okay, when I come back to LA, it's only because I gotta work.
Right, period. I love it because I see it like so many people traveling. Because I got my passport now, y'all. I'm ready to book some trips.
Girl, come.
And you know what? And you have some amazing things coming up.
Yes, honey.
Let's talk about Destination Tanzania.
Oh, okay. So I have a tour company called Rooted Escapes, and we are taking people to Tanzania for 10 days. And this trip means so much more than just, come to Tanzania. Like, let's live your best life. Tanzania was my first time in Africa when I went. And it was when I literally looked in the mirror. I took out the weave. I took out the off the lashes. I got rid of my makeup. I went natural that whole trip. And I just was like, I am enough in every aspect. In every single aspect, I am enough. Powerful. And I sat with women and I learned them. I was like, I spoke with women in the villages, and I was just like, you know, are you happy? What is going on? Because I didn't know. When I first went to Tanzania, I didn't know it was like a Muslim country, so I was wearing like, you know, like shirts like this and stuff like that, and the men were looking, and I was like, no, you're like, I'm over here thinking like LA vibes. I'm like, sir, you cannot talk to me. And they like, oh my gosh, you gotta lock her up, like and all this stuff. So I didn't know, and it was a different culture, and it was a culture shock for me. And so I'm asking these women, I'm like, how do you feel about being, you know, covered up or having the men like guide you? And a lot of them were I just learned so much from that trip. And so Tanzania was a trip that's changed my life, going to Zanzibar, going to Prison Island, swimming with dolphins. Oh my God. And so this trip I curated, it took me months, and I wanted to make sure it was perfect from beginning to end. And it's going to be 10 days again.
Wow, 10 days.
10 days in Tanzania. I'm taking people there in July, and I cannot wait. It's going to be beautiful.
Hey, it's your girl Maisha from Keys to the Culture podcast. Are you a creative building a brand and want to take your business to the next level? Then listen up, because I got some exciting news for you. One of the fastest ways to reach your target audience is to promote on Keys to the Culture podcast. Why? Because we have some of the biggest names in the game, from musicians to CEOs to creatives and bosses of all kinds. So this is your chance to tap into our audience to grow your business to the next level. We work with small businesses as well as newbies in the game. So don't worry if you're just starting out, we got you covered. Are you ready to promote on Keys to the Culture podcast? Well, click the link in the bio to promote today.
I can just imagine. I think I might need the book because it's just so magical to think about a place outside of the U.S. Where there's so much culture, so much richness in the soil, in the food, the people, and how it changes your life, and that contributes to your wellness. So let's talk about wellness. How important is wellness to you as a functioning adult?
It's super important. I think a lot of people overlook health. Like, we're just like, we living, I'm alive, I'm healthy.
Come on now.
But that don't mean you're going to be living alive and healthy for long. Like, you got to be, you got to take care of your body. Like, you have to take care of your body. And that means in every aspect, mentally, physically, spiritually, really emotionally. Tapping into these little compartments can make you into a super being. But a lot of people are okay with being mid. I know I'm not okay with being mid. Girl, I can't. You know, it's like when you feed your mental, when you feed your spiritual, when you feed your body, when you look at yourself in confidence and not in the confidence of like, oh, everybo's gonna think I look good or I feel good or whatever. No, like I literally can sit by myself and I'm knowing I'm fully enough in that aspect. It's a level of wellness that needs to be more of, you know?
Yeah, I think health and wellness is wealth.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of people who have money, but they're not happy.
Yeah.
They're not mentally well.
Yeah.
Their bodies may be going through a sickness or something, and they're not even able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So even the simple things of life, if we look at other countries, the simple things make people happy.
100%.
Like having that joy. But you know, in America, Black women have faced so much issues health-wise.
Yeah.
The pharmaceutical company is not our best friends. And then also, my experience, I have PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and that causes a lot of women to have hormonal imbalances, unwanted hair, menstrual cycles not coming. I've had menstrual cycles not come for months.
Wow.
And that can cause cervical cancer.
Yeah.
That can cause fluctuating weight gain.
Yeah.
And how important is the food? Like, you are organic and you are vegan.
Yes.
So how important is the vegan lifestyle in choosing better with our food intake?
It's so cliche, but it's really the thing is like you are what you eat. And I actually just did a post today on my story saying our food could be our medicine or it could be the thing that makes us sick, basically.
Yeah.
And we overlook it because I get it. I came from that upbringing where parents just got home from work. You have to like go to McDonald's. It's affordable. It's quick. It's fulfilling. Boom. Yeah. I grew up on McDonald's. I was also very overweight at a young age. I was 100 and almost 90 pounds when I was 13 years old. Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah. And I remember we used to do, PE, and they used to like weigh you in front of everybody. And girl, let me tell you, my crush was back there.
Come
and they
on now.
must have
Let's talk about
weighed me. And he was like, I was so embarrassed. But I grew up on McDonald's. My dad always fed me McDonald's. We would go get donuts in the morning. I was slow. I hated working out. Then I was like, enough's enough. Because I hated I was young and I was insecure about my body. Yeah. So then I started going to the gym. But it was funny because I didn't know how to work out. So I would literally just be one of those girls in the gym, like on the treadmill walking. And being like, okay, I'm done.
I did what I need to do.
And then not a single sweat. Like, it was so bad. And then eventually I really got into the health and wellness lifestyle, watching what I eat. I've been vegetarian. I was vegetarian before I became vegan, so I haven't had meat in over 10 years.
Wow.
And the importance of looking at the food. If we look at a lot of these foods that were being made, a lot of them are GMO'd, a lot of them are being grown, a lot of them are being, in science, this chemical, and we're intaking that. This is a human body. We're not little science experiments. This is this car that we driving with our body, like, this is something you wouldn't go and put like 81 gas in a freaking Rolls Royce. Like why are you treating your body like that? I know my body, and I try to give it the best.
Yeah, you're right. But you know, I think sometimes we get a little too comfortable with the type of food we eat. It's a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, my family from the South. So
Mine too.
You know what I'm saying?
My grandma was mad when I became vegan. She was like, so I can't cook no greens for you,
What's
no
really going
ribs.
on?
Like, she was mad.
Yeah, and it's kind of like we hold on to it, even if it's not healthy for us.
Yeah.
Even bad relationships we hold on to is not healthy for us. So for me, like, even I did the 90-day raw vegan.
Okay.
And I lost weight during that time. That was like, you know what? Let me go back to like eating a little bit. And then soon as I did, my period stopped again. And I started to have problems with my left ankle, which will swell up for like random reasons, y'all. Yeah. So for Black women, like, it's so important to take care of our bodies, because we are the mothers, we're the grandmothers, we're the sisters. And sometimes the pharmaceutical and medical industry don't really take care of us the way we're not supposed to. You know what? It's like a lot of Black women die having kids.
100%. And when you had spoke about Queen of Food, a sacred woman is a gift from God.
Yes.
Interviewing her, I was so honored because it's true. I have a women's circle, a book club, and we speak about, you know, multiple things in there, and periods and menstrual cycles being one of them. And there are women who have had hormonal imbalances. Their periods have been irregular for multiple, you know, years, like extended periods of times and stuff like that. And once reading this book, once incorporating some of the practices, they're like, oh my gosh, my period's back. I'm not suffering as bad as I used to. Whatever the case may be, you can heal fibroids in certain ways naturally.
Yes,
you know, you don't always have to go and get a hysterectomy and all these procedures that they're so quick to say, okay, yes, and give us $30,000 to.
Right.
You get me? Like, people forget this country is a business. It's a corporation first and foremost. And I look at it like everybody's a little employee. So my thing is, like, does it really care about you? No, that's why you have to care about yourself.
Man, I mean, you touched on a lot of stuff here. There's literally, I just read this article of this guy. He was in Asia. I cannot pinpoint the exact place, but he was living in the jungle. Essentially, he was like the Tarzan, right? For over 40 years.
Nice.
With his father. His father ended up passing away. He was by himself for a number of years. For 40 years, health was great. Lived off the land. He inserted himself back into society because they ended up finding him. For 8 years, he stayed in society, and the man died of cancer. Wow. In 8 years of being in regular society and eating regular food. This was recent. Wow. Yes, I think it was 2013.
Okay, girl, don't get me started. Because I'm like, people need to mind their business. Like, they take something so precious and they're like, we have to have it.
We have to bring you back. Like, he wasn't bothering nobody. Right. And then here you go. Okay, you can come back to society. Everything's okay. Because I think they escaped during the Vietnam War. I'm not going to get too deep. And him and his father, and he was there for 40 years.
Wow, very interesting.
And literally, he died within 8 years of being inserted back into regular society.
But I think, so, like, off of that, that's why I like traveling and being on islands so much, because there's difference. A lot of people, they have their version of quality a little mixed up for me personally. Quality for me is quality air, quality food, quality people, quality environment. A lot of some people, so I'm not going to say everybody, their version is, you know, Gucci this or this brand or this car or this. And I'm like, what is this doing for you?
Right.
Like, actually, what is this doing for you? Okay, it's nice. Yeah. I'm not a hater, and I'm here for it. But I'm like, is it actually doing something for you, though? Is it benefiting you in any way besides socially? Because you look cool. But I realize if you really own who you are, you don't need the glitz and the glam.
You don't.
I started showing up, like, when I really, like, started stepping into my full power, I would go to the club with no makeup on.
Hello.
Like, literally, like, what's good? And get hella, and I'm not there for the attention, but literally.
But it's going to happen, though.
It's the energy you put out. I don't have to throw on lashes. I don't have to throw on the lips or whatever the case may be. I'm here. What's good? Period. I'm enough. And you exert that energy. You receive that energy back. But we overshadow ourselves with so many things when at the end of this, our canvas is supposed to be so simple.
And these filters. Y'all with these filters, it be having y'all in the chokehold.
Filters be having, no, okay, let me tell you something. Okay, I'm the mixed feelings. You have to love yourself fully. But
Exactly.
I do love me. There are some filters out there.
Wait a minute now. I done did something. You know, when I ain't got no lashes on.
Yes, like
I will put it on.
Girl, I'm like, okay. But I don't like the filters that where you look like a completely different person. Like,
Yes, it changes your whole face.
yes, because I just saw, it be cracking me up though. Because I'm like, who are you fooling? Like I think it was Paris or France, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me. But like literally, there's somewhere in Europe, I think they're trying to ban filters.
I seen that.
Yeah, because they're like all this stuff, and I'm literally just like. Somebody said in the comments, they were like, they're not going to do that in America.
Oh my God, no, they're not. That is so funny because it'd be like, I see people all the time and some people do every picture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know you.
Yeah.
Until you see them in person, you're like, they don't look the same.
They don't look, and the thing is, I don't know the actual terminology for that, but I want to equate it to body dysmorphia almost.
Similar, yeah.
Because, I mean, obviously it's a face situation, but it's like body dysmorphia because it's at the end of the day, you're not comfortable with what you look like unless I know girls who can't go to the gym without a full face of makeup on. And it's like.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's like literally, girl, we all in there looking the same. Like, we all in there looking rough, sweaty, you know? And it's like, you're fine. Like, you look good. You're just enough. But I get it. Like, everybody has their own, speed that they grow at and stuff like that. And I'm not here to rush anybody, but I do want people to really know that we really are enough. Like, you don't have to go and pressurize yourself. And social media has done this thing where it comes with filters or the face tunes and the body shaping. And, I saw this girl. I remember being on set one time, and the director got this girl, and she was supposed to have, a little badonkadonk on her, and her badonkadonk wasn't badonkadonk. And he fired her right then and there.
Period.
And so it's kind of like we live in this false reality where it's like, I'm this supermodel, glamorous person on this platform, and on here I'm Amy who works at Target, and Amy that works at Target is perfectly fine. She's just as gorgeous. She's just as dope, and that's what people don't realize.
Yeah, this is unrealistic expectations that we put on ourselves, and society has continuously done that to us all the time, especially Black women. We, like you said earlier, we are the blueprint, but then everybody's copying and pasting our features, our slang.
Don't get me started.
That's the culture is, y'all. Key to the culture. We are the culture. We are the blueprint, and we're not saying in a cocky way. It's just facts.
It's facts.
This is just facts.
I went to Egypt, girl. I'm seeing this stuff.
Listen,
girl. When I was in Egypt, I'm like, you mean to tell me this dreadlocked, braided beard man is not a Black man? And they swore up and down it wasn't a Black man. And I'm like, okay, this look like my Uncle Mac. Like,
come on.
Like, it was the body structure, the essence. I'm like, this is it. And it's like, there's just so many things. There's just so many things throughout history, throughout time. And we as a people, I feel like we need to, that's why I'm big on just self-love, love ourselves fully, because we can't expect everybody else to love us if we don't fully accept ourselves. Yes. And that's just facts to me,
Could you relate that to generational traumas that are rooted in causing us to have low self-esteem, or issues with our skin complexion, issues with our bodies, and self-belief? In breaking those traumas from things that have been attached to us since our childhood. There's different things we all have experienced through our childhood that contribute to who we are today. So I know that you have been putting out a lot of positive things on social media and pouring back into people, and it's a beautiful thing. And a lot of people are still dealing with those traumas from their childhood. So what advice would you give someone who is trying to break those generation traumas, and how can they do so?
I think something that people should definitely do, no matter how old you are, where you're from, is therapy. And sometimes I know it's expensive, so I'll go through other outlets, but if you can do a therapist, there are websites where it's like less expensive, and there's different avenues, but speaking it to a professional who's not gonna tell your business to nobody is really a safe comforting thing. It's like, it's a thing. And it sucks because I know a lot of Black men. I personally know a lot of Black men who are like, I don't do no therapy. I don't need no therapy. I'm like, you really need therapy because you don't think you need therapy. Like,
exactly.
And so when it comes to that stuff, it's like talking about it is first and foremost. Being able to journal and identify, why do I feel this way?
Yeah.
What's going on? What happened in my past? What am I not healed from? What did it for me? And and you'll be surprised what unlocked. And nobody has to read that. One thing I do personally sometimes, I'll do videos to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is how I feel right now, and I have to express it. And a lot of people, I've started talking about it in my book club and other things that I'm a part of, and women are doing it, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's an escape. And it is, because you're saying everything you're feeling that the world, you feel like, wouldn't accept.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not being slaved by nobody. You ain't putting no shackles on me.
Okay.
If I got something to say, I'm gonna say, but I'm a nice person, so I'm not gonna be like wrothy with it, like crazy with it, but I'm gonna put it in a nice little package so you fully understand and know it's meant with love.
Yeah.
So,
it's really interesting. You said talk about it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't talk, and we hold it in our bodies, and that causes health issues.
Yeah.
That causes mental.
Oh my God, yes.
It's all related. It's literally a chain.
Yeah.
If one thing is off, everything knocks off, and a lot of the traumas that we experience through our childhood really show up in our adulthood, and it shows up in relationships, and how we function in relationships. So for you, when it comes to romantic relationships, have those traumas been dealt with, so when you show up for your man or show up for your purpose partner, you're able to have a healthy relationship?
That's a beautiful question. I would say, for me personally, this was my first relationship that I was in. And so prior to the person I was in my relationship with, I dated in the past. And there's levels to dating, I feel like. Yeah. So, like, for me, when I was just dating, I'm just having fun. I'm getting to know people. Yeah. I'm like, we're having heart-to-hearts and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I might really be enthralled with this person. But when it comes to my trauma, I kept that so deep down inside of me. I didn't open that door for anybody, but there were things that I was accepting that I shouldn't have accepted from these people. Oh, he loves me because he just sent me a text in the morning. Oh, he loves me because he just invited me out to dinner on a Thursday night randomly. And granted, those could be acts of love and stuff like that. However, don't let that be your top. Yeah. You have to know your worth, especially as women. A lot of women I've met, including myself, I did not know my worth at a point. And it hurt because I was like this bad girl. Everybody was like, oh my God. And I'm over here like, okay, well, he likes me and I think he's cute too. And I'm like, whatever. But there were things that within myself that I was healing, that I didn't heal from my childhood. When I was 190 pounds, this guy I had a crush on in my middle school, he like hit me in the back of my head. He bullied me. Oh my God. And I was like, when it came to men, I just didn't know how to really, I used to shake talking to them for a long period of time. Now I'm good. but then it was a thing. So there were a lot of things, and I'm grateful to have had my relationship where my partner was patient with me. He grew with me. He learned me. I learned him. And sometimes you grow in different directions, and that's okay. But we were still able to communicate that to a degree with each other and be accepting of each other. So
that's so interesting. Like for me, it's been a journey, like the dating process, especially in LA. LA is different. It's ghetto. The dating pool has pee in it. So it's really like, it's so difficult. Well, a lot of people say this. It's difficult. And my experience has been a little rocky too. I'm not going to lie. But finding that purpose partner is like something that I really aspire to find. And I think this is my year. This is my year.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you right now, and this is going to go viral, this is your year, girl.
Come on!
Because let me tell you, it's when you only are focused on you, is when you receive that that.
I've heard that.
It's like when you least expect it, not when you looking for it. It's when you're like, I'm so into me. Like, how often is it when you're like focused on you, does somebody send you a text that you ain't talked to in years?
Right.
Talking about some hey, big head. I'm like, I was not thinking about you. Why are you trying to come and ruin all this? Like,
exactly.
You get me? So it's going to happen for you because you're doing so much and you only pouring into yourself. I always say you got to pour into you and then let your cup runneth over.
Yeah.
And let people get that outpour. You get me?
Ooh,
So yeah.
I love that. Y'all gonna see me with my man.
I know that's right.
But other than that, you know, when it comes to affirmations, I think that's important too.
Yeah.
You know, and understanding that, yes, this is my year, but let me speak it to myself. Mm-hmm. You know, death and life is in the power of the tongue. So what you speak over yourself is very powerful. The words that we speak, the beliefs, it's in our body. We hold it here. So when we say it, it is already ours, and we have to accept it. So do you use affirmations? Because it's all around the internet. Affirmations and meditation, but you actually do it. Yes. So how has it changed your life and your perspective by implementing that?
I think affirmations for me have, because it's funny, because at first I used to just do affirmations to affirmation. When I first started hearing, because I didn't even know there was a word for it, like, years ago. Like, I used to just be like, oh, you know, I'm a boss-ass bitch. Like, whatever. Like, these are affirmations. Like, what's that song? Like, oh, my mama, oh, my I look good. Like, these are affirmations that we're saying and we're not even knowing. So there's so many songs that have affirmations that we're speaking upon ourselves and we don't even know. But for me personally, affirmations changed my life because I started being intentional with my affirmations. And when I started being intentional, saying like, I am protected, I am loved, I am a blessing to others, like I started seeing that where it wouldn't be like the others that I would think. It might be like my grandma saying, I thank you for sending me a text. You are an amazing granddaughter and I love you so much. Or my dad sending me something. It's like those things. And and it's funny because like when people think, you know, we often think we're going to get rewarded from the outside, this big old, like the social media, all this stuff. Sometimes it takes those little texts that nobody else sees but me, and it makes my heart full.
I love that. Yeah. And one thing I love about you too, you're big on community. And I know like you really want to give back to the community in so many different ways. Is there anything that you're doing now that you want to speak upon that is really giving back to our community and pouring back into our community? Because I definitely want to align with you on a couple of things.
Girl, we got to.
So I think your lane of women is really important too. Yeah. And aligning with different women and organizations and giving back. Is there anything that you would say to young Black women and to give them some advice?
Yes. I would say you are enough. You are a queen. You are beautiful. You set the tone of your life, and the choices you make are the choices that you make and you live with. And appreciate yourself. Love yourself at every aspect from beginning to end. I feel like, you know, as women, we're like so hard on ourselves. Oh, I could have done better. I could have been better. Oh, I wish I would have said this once I get in the car or whatever the case may be. And just know you said what you're supposed to say. Yeah. You did what you were supposed to do. And you love yourself through that process. So I really want younger women to know their worth in this world. I see so many beautiful girls. And I'm like, girl, you are a queen. You don't even know it. Yeah. And my thing is, like, I remember wanting to be a Disney princess. Girl, I was a queen the whole time.
Come on,
like, I was like, the hell?
We are.
Right.
And young girls have to know that.
Yes.
Yes. One of my favorite movies is The Little Princess. Let's be clear. That's iconic.
Wait, the Little Princess, the one with the girl, and she was in, like, she had the little black girl?
Yes!
Oh, my God. Girl, wait, remember Blockbuster? I used to have my dad pick me up that movie from Blockbuster all the time, yes.
Listen, that is one of my favorite movies because it's showing, like, even though you had your father loving on you, and he poured into her the whole time since she was a little girl. She went through this moment of adversity, but then when her daddy came back.
Yes, and he unwrapped them stitches. I was crying.
Like, oh my God.
That used to get me all the time, girl.
That's one of my favorite movies. But like that movie and having Black women be representative in so many different mediums of media, movies, television, social media, is so important. So I want to commend you on that for being a soundboard for young Black women and women in general, because everyone needs someone who's going to pour back into them, and that's what you do. You pour into your audience, you pour into your supporters, and I see that every day. Wellness, lifestyle, fitness, how important fitness is, and aligning yourself with amazing brands and people that really can just be an echo to everything that you do. So I'm super proud of you.
Thank you, girl.
If I didn't tell you before, I'm super proud. Oh my God, I'm so proud. So I want you to let everybody know what's coming next for Miss AJ.
I got stuff, y'all. I can't say too
stuff.
much. I'm like, I got deals, but what I can say, my tours are coming. I'm taking people to Tanzania in July. So it would be amazing to have, you guys on if you're interested. What else do I have? I have some commercials that are out right now. I got some in the works. So you can catch me on a couple of your television screens. I have, by the time this comes out, this should be. So I have my skincare line as well. That is Bare Beauty. You can find it at barebeauty.com with all about the shea and the skincare. Yes. And just watch out for me. I'm on the beginning. This is only the beginning. Graduated college a year and a half ago, and I'm like, let's get it.
Let's get it. You see how we build brands? Okay. Empire right here, you guys. It's so important to build brands.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. I got something for y'all coming up too, so don't worry about it. But thank you so much for being on, AJ. You have dropped some gems and tools. I want everybody to follow her. What is your @
It is at It's Just AJ Love. So everybody be like, it's just AJ. No, it's at ITS Just AJ Love. There we go.
Yes. So thank you all for tuning in to Keys to the Culture. Follow us on all platforms at Keys to the Culture Podcast. Go to keystotheculturepodcast.com. Listen in. Watch us on YouTube. We are coming with some heat, y'all. Y'all think this is just this one-time thing? Oh, we got some heat.
We gonna be back, y'all.
We gonna be back. So thank you so much. Until next time, y'all have a good day, because I'm gonna be back and I'm gonna be cute. Bye.